world surrounded by franchises, reboots, and shared universes. An elite team of podcasters will risk body and soul to investigate the depths of intellectual properties, one multiverse, subgenre, and trend at a time. Who are we? We're the IP Squad.
Welcome back to the IP Squad, and yes, I can't believe it. Finally, the last official case of our video game season. I'm John Campbell, and of course, because of the movie we're covering, who else to finish this up but Elliott Lewis?
It's been a long investigation.
Yes, it really has.
But we're here at the end.
Yep.
Wrapping it all up.
Everyone made it for the most part. I think Gergoni's got to go into some counseling, but beyond that, he took the brunt of it.
He took the brunt of this.
Yeah, I mean, aside from me, obviously, but look, I signed up for that. It's my
you're
thing.
The captain, I guess, or
yeah.
The commissioner. I don't know.
Whatever. You pick anything that works. But yes, but he once again, for those who listen, he did say, "Oh, if you can't find anybody, I'll do it." I don't think he was prepared for how few things I could find people for.
That was his
This one, though, I will say, and you know this about him, he was like, ooh, a little spooky on that one for me.
I was hanging out with him the other night, and I was a little tipsy because it was a Friday night.
Of course.
And I forgot who I was talking to for a second, and I said the words out loud. Hey, Mike, have you seen this fucked up movie, this fucked up Australian movie about a giant pig? And he was like, he just sort of looked at me for a second, like,
absolutely
no,
not.
I absolutely haven't, but thank you for trying.
Yeah. He'd like to sleep at night, Yeah. He still won't forgive me for making him watch some of the Halloween movies for an episode we did. Yo, you were on that episode, yeah.
I was on those.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he was like, no. Although I will say, having said that, I didn't find this thing scary at all. Maybe the more fright-oriented people might have. But I gotta say, 2025's Until Dawn is what we're talking about.
Yes.
I really didn't find it that... I mean, look, I understand. We both speak from a scenario being, as my sister likes to often say, broken people. There's the constant amount of scary stuff I watch with her where she's like, what is wrong with you? Why are you not terrified? I don't know. What did you find this sufficiently creepy?
I found certain parts of it, well, okay, right, creepy and scary, very different things.
Very different things.
It does employ a lot of jump scares, and while the jump scares don't scare me, right?
No,
like
right.
I'm a jumpy person, so like
these jump scares
you caught me off guard.
Yeah, these jump scares do fall pretty flat, I thought, for the most part.
Yeah, I think the only one that like really freaked me out, at least the first time, because I was saying to John off camera, I did watch this twice yesterday.
Yes. Yes.
But the first time was towards the end, they're seeing the creature from far off, and then it walks out of frame through the like frame of like a window, and then like another one pops up, and it's like, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah,
that was okay.
Yeah. I gotta say, not to, because this is not as bad as some things I've seen, as we were talking about before we started recording as well. I will say, in the pros column, I think this is a pretty good-looking movie, and I think all the practical like gore effects really good, and I like that there was a commitment to doing them practically.
I watched this twice. Once with my partner Olivia, who could not be here.
Yeah.
For this portion of the investigation, but there were only like 2 moments that we really thought didn't look very good. the video that they watch of the sister,
Oh, sure, yeah.
it really really looks like it's on a green screen. And
Yes, it very much
the
so.
first time Max dies, getting the stake pushed through his eye,
Oh.
it for some reason looks like it was supposed to be a 3D effect, and so it looks really weird and out of place.
What
But
I did.
other than that,
Yes. Other than that,
this movie has really great production values.
it really does. Yeah, for being a $15 million movie.
That's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, I mean, this is David F. Sandberg is the director of this, who people may know did Lights Out, which I was a fan of, and Annabelle Creation. I don't think I saw anything past that first Annabelle movie, but he did one of the Annabelle movies.
I think, yeah. Which one? Which one of them? One of them.
Annabelle Creation was the second, no,
second,
because Annabelle Comes Home is the third one.
Is the third.
So he did the second Annabelle.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Sojourn. This was his return to horror after his mixed bag sojourn into the superhero world with the 2 Shazam movies, which I liked the first Shazam movie. And then nobody liked the second Shazam movie. So, interesting. But I do think his direction is very good. Where this movie loses me is in the script and the characters.
Yes. And John, you having not really a lot of context for
I've
the
not
Until
played this
Dawn
game, yeah.
ness of it.
Right.
This is, not an exaggeration. The game, this movie makes the game worse by existing. Unfortunately, like
from what I gathered, this ends up. I mean, I guess spoiler all the way in. This ends up sort of being a prequel to the game.
Well, okay, and this is the other fun thing about the behind the scenes is that Gary Dauberman and Sandberg do not agree on that point, whether it is a prequel or a sequel.
Ooh,
so that's always good when your creative team does not
and
agree
I will say
about what the film is.
I'm glad you brought, because I actually really like Gary Dauberman. I think he's a very good writer.
Too.
I've liked a lot of his stuff.
I have experienced things that Gary Dauberman has done that I like.
Yes.
It's not one of them.
No, I will say that's what will kind of bum me out here. Is I think Sandberg is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here, because I think visuals, this is a damn good looking movie, but it's a pretty piss poor script from a guy I think is usually pretty good.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, probably most famous for writing the It movies. And The Nun is also him.
The Nun.
And
Nun was
Annabelle.
pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he comes from the Conjuring James Wan universe. He also created the criminally underrated Swamp Thing TV show, which was shockingly good, and they couldn't wait to cancel that thing. That I think was a personal affront to me, I take it, as somebody who...
Oh, of course.
That's one of my top comic book characters. And I was like, they're doing it. What? It's already been canceled. Okay, great. Perfect. Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's get that shit out of here. Anyway, so I was surprised at how, the character work, and I don't blame any of the actors per se. Boy, I thought every character was pretty awful.
Yeah, I like Odessa Asian, and I think that she did the best with her character.
And
but like, yeah, nobody was particularly interesting or compelling.
No,
unfortunately. It's this whole thing is bizarre. Like, I don't even know where to start, because like, this is kind of the perfect movie to end this investigation with.
Yeah,
because I've brought it up a couple times when I've been on for this season, but like, there's a question of what's the point of adapting a video game to a movie? Like what are we trying to get out of it? What can we do differently from one to the other? And this really is the ultimate, like, who was this for?
Yeah.
What was the point? And it seems to be no one and nothing.
Because I do know, I mean, and I mentioned to you that I had played The Quarry, which is, as you were saying, sort of spiritual successor to it. So I also know these games are, and all the games this studio has made, are very cinematic in nature. I mean, they're very movie inspired, and they
100%.
They feature
And
known
yeah,
actors in them, even, and stuff like that. So one would question why you would adapt these things that are already essentially movies somewhat.
exactly. Like, because while they are video games, like I'm not here to debate,
Oh no.
what's a game and what's not, but
Right.
there is a certain, like you said, cinematic quality to them. But the thing and Supermassive Games, the studio,
Right.
they do play on a lot of like like a lot of the games are like, an homage
Right.
to horror movies.
I mean,
in various genres and in various ways, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what led me to The Quarry is friend of the show and fellow investigator Michael Listman's like, you got to play this game, John. It's an 80s horror movie. Like, you'll love it. And I did.
But the thing that is like interesting about Until Dawn and the other Supermassive games is that the thing that pushes them beyond just being games that are homages to horror movies is the inclusion of the player as a force of will in the story itself. Like, it there's a certain limitation to the ability to affect this, like, what's going on, and it's a little bit clanky in Until Dawn specifically because I think it was their first game. But like, you make choices and do things when you're playing certain characters in the game that change the outcome of the game.
Right.
And you can like go through and save everybody or have everyone die. Like, it really is like a choose your own adventure horror movie. Yeah. And so when you take that stuff out of it, it's just a horror movie. And then it's like severely less interesting now because it's just a horror movie at that point.
And let's be honest, they're playing on a lot of the tropes and iconography of movies that individually often aren't particularly great.
Yeah.
But yes, when you have that control in them and you get to experience them and make these choices, so when you remove that, now I'm looking at just, you got some teens in a cabin in the woods.
I did write a note at one. I think Olivia came to this same conclusion about the same time I did when watching it. Is it just kind of feels like, what if Cabin in the Woods was less interesting?
You know what? I third that. I have that. Yeah. I had that same. I kept going like, I want to watch Cabin in the Woods instead, which is obviously, is gleefully reveling in throwing, because this movie, like Cabin in the Woods, throws everything. This is not a zombie movie or a slasher movie. It's all the things. And so when you go like, if I don't have Dick Jenkins and Bradley Whitford at the controls of the thing, this is just crazy. Aside from, I will say, 10 out of 10 no notes on Peter Stormare, who's great in
of course, like
everything. Yeah. And every time he showed up, I'm like, now this movie's got some energy. He's having a 100%. Blast. He's so fun, as always. Thrilled to be here. I mean,
right? Like,
just thrilled to be that. That's a man who loves what he does. Oh, I loved every second he was in it.
This was the greatest day of work in his whole life.
No. Oh, he's having so much.
Oh yeah, Peter Stormare, always doing the most and absolutely loving it, and I'm loving him.
And I know he is from the game as well.
Yes. So, I'm not really sure how we want to like structure this. Like, I don't know if you want me to talk, like, if I should.
Let's talk about Let's talk about the game. That's usually how we do this. Is we start by talking about the game, because we'll talk about the source material and then kind of get into the ad. Because I do think, once again, you're going to have a different reaction to this than I did, having experienced the game, even if I have a very loose idea of what it is. But yeah, so let's talk about the game, and then yes, the because this movie on paper, I thought, oh, they're doing the thing that a lot of video game stuff is doing now, where it's like, we're not adapting the game.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing a new story set in the universe. And then, because I am loosely familiar with the game, when somebody opened up a folder and I saw Academy Award winner Rami Malek's photo.
Rami Malek.
Who, by the way, was taking no one's calls on this film, I don't think.
He showed up uncredited and he did not care.
Yeah, that's fine. Then I was like, okay. And so I am curious to get to the disagreement between Sandberg and Doberman. But let's talk about the game, which, as we've talked about a little bit, it is, according to I'm on the Supermassive Wikipedia page, and they called, here's the interesting, they call them interactive survival horror dramas.
Yeah, I couldn't remember because I knew that they had a specific thing that they called them.
Because I do know
I just couldn't remember what it was.
If your certain subsection of gamers don't like that, it's the same thing with like Telltale and stuff like that, where it's like, I'm not playing everything out. So for me, I love stuff like that, but
yeah, I mean, right, to each their own. And even Until Dawn, I think, was unique in the way that it was, I don't know. I guess I've never really played a Telltale games. Like, I haven't played LA Noire or anything.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't actually know how much you, like, walk around in the world like that. But
I will say less than the Supermassive games that I've played.
Okay.
But not none.
But not none. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit evolved from the like CD-ROM point and click adventure, and then Supermassive's a little bit more involved.
Beyond that, okay,
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the game, centers around a group of friends that were responsible partially for the tragic loss of two of their friends the year before, being, kind of coming back together a year later in a snowy cabin in the woods, invited by the brother of those two girls who were their friends.
Okay.
And their relationships have changed over that year. There are, some secrets and like kind of a lot of shit going on in the cabin. So very standard horror setup.
Right. I mean, immediately, and let me talk, because this is a different story, so there's none of that aesthetic, although that sounds more interesting. The snowy cabin is maybe more interesting aesthetic than what this movie does, which is a square of place that's not raining.
That's not raining, yeah. It's
a mildly
very odd.
A mildly cool image.
Yeah, it's Silent Hill, though, essentially.
I did have that thought the second they passed through a thing. I was like, uh-oh, we've been here before.
Oh, beans, we're back.
Yeah.
So over the course of playing the game, and you basically switch between all of these characters for the chapters of the game. And in between, and also at the beginning of the game, you are being interviewed by Peter Stormare's character, Dr. Hill. And, he is a psychiatrist, and he's talking to you about fear, and you're kind of like picking, and he knows stuff about what's going on while you're playing in the game. And it's like, like odd, like you're trying to figure out what's going on.
Right.
And do you want me to like spoil?
We'll put in. Yeah, go ahead. Just note that.
I mean, it's a 10-year-old game.
Yeah.
Like whatever. But I just mean for you specifically.
Oh,
you haven't played it.
No, it's all right. Let's go ahead.
So over the course of the game, there's these like weird creatures running, like chasing people around, the same creatures as in this film. And there's also this strange man who seems to be like trying to capture these creatures, but he's also very kind of vaguely hostile. And then there's also someone who's running around trying to kill the characters, and set up these kind of Saw-esque traps. And that person turns out to be Josh, Rami Malek's character. who blames the rest of the group for his sister's dying, and kind of had a psychological breakdown a little bit about it.
Yep.
And the Dr. Hill segments turn out to be hallucinations of his, as he is like having this mental breakdown even further by, like, you know, all of this stuff happening around him and the quote unquote violence that he's committing against his friends.
Okay.
And yes, the creatures themselves, I know, right? And now you're like, wow, this movie kind of has sort of fucked up that whole premise, huh?
Completely. Which would be fine if it didn't then also try to connect back into the game.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't work at all.
The creatures themselves you learn through, well, I guess you can, like, you have the option to not learn anything about what's going on. But
Yeah,
if you
right,
pick
right.
up clues around the environment,
Yeah.
there was a different mining incident in this mountain, where people got trapped and ate each other, and that is the kind of basis for the turning it into this creature. Like, they basically, you know, thrive off of human meat, and that turns them into a horrible creature. And so it turns out that that's what happened to one of the sisters, is she ate the other one.
I see.
And now she is the creature that is terrorizing this mountain, and she can turn other people as well.
Okay.
So you kind of have to work together with as many people as you can keep alive through various scenarios to and I think that the weird like hermit guy who's trying to stop all of them can survive as well. And then depending on the ending you get, you know, there's like a cutscene where you can see Josh, you know, eating a corpse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some of that is in this movie.
Some of that is in this movie. In dumber ways.
Yeah,
dumber, less interesting ways.
I was surprised at how not even, I mean, yeah, it's dumb, but yes, also just how, like, uninteresting anything is. It's really, because it's throwing all this stuff, and you just kind of, a lot of it, aside from me occasionally going, hey, that was a cool gore effect or something. Anytime anyone blows up, I'm like, that looks great.
Yeah, the the spontaneous combustion thing looked really good. They did that last. They did that effect last, which makes sense.
It looks great. All that stuff is great. But aside from those moments, most of the time I'm just like, okay, yeah. Like, it's just, you know. And then, okay, here's my question. But does the game have the time loop effect?
No. And it's
wow, that's the whole
funny.
movie.
It's extremely funny too, because the game is set up in such a way that you don't respawn or, like, come back.
Right.
And it auto saves. Like, you can't save scum shit.
Right. This is the movie
that they decided to make a time loop. Like, okay, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but...
I thought for sure that would have to be the one. If that's not, that's, and I gotta say, what it does is it just, this is one, I love a time loop premise. I'm a big time travel. Yeah. That's one of my main things I love in genre fiction. But this movie takes no advantage of the time loop premise beyond they can die and come back. But there's almost no scenes where they learn to do something because of the time loop. I couldn't believe it. What's the point even then?
Nobody learns anything. Nobody takes advantage. Like, there's one, like, and this is, I really liked Odessa Asian's performance as Nina, because, like, the one time that someone is like, let's just take advantage of this dying thing, it's her. And yeah, she's just like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's
chill.
I just couldn't believe it, because, you know, there's so many. The whole reason you do a time loop is something like Edge of Tomorrow, or obviously, I mean, Groundhog Day being the most famous one, where, yeah, you would think we would see a repetition, and they keep dying, and they learn to do it better, whatever. No.
Happy Death Day is a great horror example.
100%. Very clever. Nothing here. I was amazed by it. I'm like, what was the point of any of it, other than that they can keep killing the characters in different ways? Although a lot of them being pickaxe related. This movie loves a pickaxe.
It's a wink, mining stuff, but also, like.
But the amount, by the third time somebody shockingly has a pickaxe come through their chest or whatever. I was like,
it loses a little bit of meaning.
well, and that's another thing. The more you keep seeing them dying, because there's no narrative progression like there is in something like Happy Death Day, you just start to go like, all right, I don't care, because no one can die really, unless they make it to dawn, which is that's the title. I see.
Until Dawn.
And they keep cutting to the giant, sand glass, right? The sand timer, which switches.
Because that was a practical prop, and boy howdy, they were gonna cut to it as many times as they could.
And I'm like, I understand, movie, that this is meant to be your equivalent of a ticking clock in your screenplay, but it does. The other thing that really doesn't help is I don't really like anyone. I agree that Odessa Azion is the only person I really like, because I think she's really the only one I've seen in other stuff, and she does have a vibe on screen. Mm-hmm. So I mean, the character isn't written very well. It's just that I think she's a compelling presence.
Yes, 100%.
And we'll talk about her in a couple seasons way later, because she's in the Hellraiser. Reboot.
Yep. And that's why I was like, yeah, like I loved her in Hellraiser.
Yeah.
And that's like the only reason that she gets.
She's
really
good,
because she's like a good actor.
She's really funny on Ghosts, the sitcom Ghosts.
I haven't seen that.
She's very funny to this. She's because obviously it's all about the ghosts that live in this house, and her backstory is she was a girl in the 80s murdered on prom night. So she's permanently in a blood-soaked prom dress from where a maniac chopped her up.
Nice.
And it's very funny. So she's great. She deserves better than this. Everybody else here, this is like a CW cat. Everyone here is very attractive and super dull, which is interesting because I look at the cast of the game, and the game has a better cast than the movie. And
John, you got to play Until Dawn.
I will.
There's just so many. There's so many great character moments. And like, listen, you're gonna hate Mike going into it, but he is the fucking MVP. You gotta like wait it out.
Because it's a very weird thing to look at the cast of a game and see bigger names and like successful actors than the movie adaptation of it is pretty. Because obviously, once again, you've got Rami Malek, who obviously has gone on to be Academy Award winning actor and a Bond villain, and but Hayden Panettiere and Brett Dalton, who plays the aforementioned Mike, who I know from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Nicole Sakura, who was on Superstore. These are all, and that's the one of the things that was, and Peter Stormare, who of course will come back for this, because that guy, he's in the realm of actors we love on Meet the Monsters. They're in a lot of bad movies, but they're never bad in them.
No.
That guy is going to deliver,
no.
Even if he's in
He's going to put in the work.
Yeah.
He's going to be great, and he's also not that busy.
No, it's
unfortunately.
Really.
I wish he was busier.
Yeah, you wish he was able to say no to this, right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and then everybody here is, I can't even, other than the character named Clover, who stood out to me because her name is Clover, and they say it 8 billion times.
So many times.
It goes back to my constant refrain of the that I always quote, the Roger Ebert hated that in horror movies where people just run around saying each other's names. Amber.
Yeah.
Joseph.
Clover.
Yeah, this whole movie is just Clover. Clover.
What? Like, I don't know if this is because I watched it twice in a row, but everyone says "holy shit" a lot.
They do. This movie has some of the worst cursing I've ever heard in a film.
It really does.
It has like 12-year-olds who don't know how to wield curse words levels of cursing. There's a lot of "holy shit," or there's just a lot of sometimes just go "fuck." Yeah, and you're just like, it's weird. Please don't.
It didn't feel very natural.
No.
Not a lot of this didn't feel very natural.
No, and that really hurts because that's the backbone of these things, right? If you don't care about the characters, then go ahead and kill all of them. Like, at that point.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I mean, and this isn't the other thing. This isn't is super fun either. It's not like when I watch
No.
a Friday the 13th movie, and yeah, of course I don't care about any of the characters, but there's a tongue-in-cheek silliness
Mhm.
there that is goofy in some way. None of that is
Yeah,
here.
like again, to compare to Cabin in the Woods,
Mm-hmm.
like they're the relationships are definitely feel more natural in that,
Yeah.
but there is a kind of uncanniness to the performances in some places that, I'm not sure if that was 100% intended, but like probably given the nature of it.
Yeah, I mean,
But like
and this idea and that
that's because that ties into everything else, it makes sense and it doesn't take you out of
right. And the
the
genius in that
movie.
movie is that all the characters are being jammed into the
Mm-hmm.
archetypes, right? I mean, I love the whole
Yeah.
idea that they're spraying Chris Hemsworth with a gas that's making him dumber.
Yeah.
You're like, that's great. That's so clever. What just note from go watch Cabin in the Woods. It's
Just go
really
watch Cabin
good.
in the Woods.
It's such a clever.
It's funny and it's more interesting than this.
And it's made with it's both poking fun at, but from a place of real affection for the genre. Whereas this movie is weirdly, as we've talked about, made by people who do have legitimate cred in this genre, but I possibly somewhat checked out on the game or something. I can't figure it out. We should mention
Yeah,
that Doberman also has there's another writer on this, Blair Butler.
Yes, there's Blair. Yeah.
Who if you listen to Meet the Monsters, we talked about a movie she wrote called The Invitation, which was sort of a modern turn on Dracula that was okay, kind of similar to this in that it had good ideas, but it doesn't fully land.
I was reading some trivia, some behind the scenes stuff about the making of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and there seemed to be kind of an implication that there was a rush, like a crunch on time.
I could see
So
that.
I'm wondering if like the script was victim to that as well.
I could because it does, like a lot of the stuff we're talking about does feel like early draft kind of stuff where characters are just
Mhm.
sort of sketches, and we haven't really like had the time to do some dialogue passes, and it just doesn't land in a lot of ways. Although I mean the movie only cost $15 million. It ultimately was quite successful as a result of that. That they didn't spend
Um,
much, that it did well.
yeah. Um, it's just and yeah, it just unfortunately ended up being like less than the sum of its parts,
Yeah.
which sucks because I wanted this to be good.
Sure. And it could have obviously it could have been good, and it's just yeah. I mean, I once again they made there's it's just like one step forward, two steps back with all these things, because the decision not to just make the game is a good
Yeah,
one.
A plus 100, no notes.
Yeah, and the more I hear of stuff doing that, I people have heard the same things again on this
what's the
show
point?
when I keep talking about, like, to me, the best live action adaptation of a video game. We didn't cover this because we don't do TV shows, and I think it's Fallout. I think Fallout it does an amazing job of being additive to that franchise, and I'm very glad to hear that the Mass Effect show that Amazon is doing is taking a Fallout
Ooh.
approach.
Interesting.
It's a new story set in the world of Mass Effect that won't be a story about Shepard and something. It's like, good, yes, do that. Because that's a world big enough
Like,
to contain that.
there's a whole like you have exactly. You have this whole expansive universe that this is set in. Like there have to be other interesting stories to tell because otherwise
Yeah.
the game could not support itself
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in terms of being its own thing.
But the thing that I think is weird about this movie, like we talked about with the time loop stuff, with the idea of taking something that was the hallucination of a character and making it actual reality. It's great that you're doing an original thing, but you could still take elements of the game or ideas from the game. Instead, this thing's almost too reverent of the game, where it wants to be in addition to, except for this is a weird game to do that with.
Exactly. The other thing that is so like that it would have been such an easy layup and they just didn't take it. So Ji Young Yu's character Meg
Mm-hmm.
is psychic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Her being psychic does nothing for the movie, which
No.
sucks because in Until Dawn there is a mechanic where you can find these items that give you like premonitions of things that could happen depending on the choices you make.
Oh, my God. Yep.
And they didn't do anything with like she
Then
was
why
right there.
why make her? I mean, yeah,
Why make her psychic?
yeah, she's horribly wasted in this thing. I don't. I'm not. I can't say I know her from anything, but anyone's wasted in this role as just. There's so many. She's just there to be like, I feel something, I sense something, and then to like float up in the air and stuff like that, and just like
She's there to suffer,
Yeah.
unfortunately. She
Oh,
really,
yeah.
I think she gets the worst of like every single run.
Absolutely, yeah. It's almost like it's a detriment to be the psychic one in this.
Yeah, I guess. Like shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what we're talking about is whether it be the time loop or her psychic abilities, all of this stuff kind of suffers from. There's not a lot of progression to anything that's in this movie.
Mm-mm.
This movie doesn't have that satisfying sort of sense of momentum to it. You know, you just sort of go through
Like-
scenes, and so individual scenes may be like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but put together, it's like nothing. One thing Olivia said when we were watching it was she's like, I feel like so much is happening and at the same time nothing is going
Yeah,
on.
that's a
It really
perfect-
does feel like that.
Perfect description, yeah, because there's all this stuff in the movie, and you're waiting for the movie to have the big moment, kind of like that you're talking about that the game has with Rami Malek's character. You're waiting for the big moment where you're like, oh, so that's what it all is. And that doesn't really happen beyond some vague wording about Stormare's fear experiments.
Okay, so this was so weird. And again, right? Like it really does the game such a disservice by existing.
Mm-hmm.
That like it implies that somehow Dr. Hill is like astral projecting into Rami Malek's mind because he's a little bit magic.
Everyone's a little bit magic in this.
That this like that because like the like I said earlier, like the Dr. Hill's office starts out at the beginning of the game like a normal office,
Yeah.
and then are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you losing power?
No, it's a light that's in my. I have a. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I know it's getting
like,
it's getting
'cause you
creepy in here.
Because you don't live that far from me, and so I'm like, okay,
No,
is there
no,
a
no,
storm
no.
coming that I need to be ready for?
No, there's no light in this room, and so what I have is a battery-powered light that is running out of energy.
Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
It's a weird. There's no overhead light in my office.
They're the same. Sorry, this is a diatribe. I don't know if you're gonna cut this out, but sorry to our listeners.
Yeah, probably not.
My brother and I, our apartment, it's the same way. There's
Mm-hmm.
there's like 2 or 3 overhead lights in the whole apartment.
Yeah.
And none of them are in the bedrooms.
I know. Yeah, it makes no sense. I have the same thing.
It's absurd.
So I have a light that sticks up on a magnet on the ceiling. And it has now run out of batteries. That's why things have gotten creepy in here.
Very cool.
Anyway.
It's Rami Malek. He's behind you.
Oh God! Oh no!
So Dr. Hill's office starts out as
Yes.
just a normal psychiatrist's office, and over the course of the game between the chapters, it deteriorates until it like the recreation of the fucked up version of his office is absolutely delicious. Spared no expense. Clearly, it looks amazing, but it does imply again that it's real because it's real.
Yeah.
And it's a real place.
Of all the things
it doesn't make a damn bit of
all
sense.
the things you told me about the game, that is the most like, wait a minute, what? So none of it's real in the thing, but it is in this movie. And then this movie, okay, let's talk about. So what's the disagreement between Sandberg and Doberman? Because the movie seems to set up the end of this movie is all our characters escape, and then Peter Stormare is looking at like surveillance cameras, and they all the screens switch over from the cabin they were at to a snowy cabin in the woods, and a car drives up, which once again, from my outside knowledge of some of the setting of the game, I'm like, oh, so the game storyline is beginning?
You would think that.
Yeah.
But it's not the same lodge.
Okay.
And this movie very distinctly takes place like now, and until dawn, very like the game takes place in 2014.
Okay.
So this can't be a prequel because it is like they have fucking smartphones. They have like
that's true.
Like,
that's
the
true.
newest
That's true.
iPhones and shit.
That's true. So it's is that instead implying some sort of cycle of?
Fucking knows, John.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But where Peter Stormare's Scarecrow-esque character now is just doing these.
Well, because like, and this was like the only benefit to watching it twice in one night. That when they're in the office, I was able to know, or in the office or living room thing underground, I was able to notice like one of his key cards for being a psychiatrist is the sanatorium that Jake who's Jake that Josh was at. And there's like all these newspaper clippings on the table about various places where disasters have struck in, inhabited places.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's kind of setting up this thing where he again, like, it's not a real place, the game. It's
right.
Josh. He's hallucinating.
That's the thing that's crazy.
Nobody goes to the office.
And what then is the... He's got Malek's file.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing too.
So what is that? If he's a creation
what's
of
the timeline there?
If he is in the game a figment of Malek's imagination, why is he then? I mean, it makes it turns into like
in the game it's implied that he was Josh's real psychiatrist, but it didn't work. And Josh is
he's very bad at his job, apparently.
He is very bad at his job, clearly.
Yeah.
Or was he doing it on purpose the whole time?
I guess that's what this is implying, right? Is that even that is yet a bigger part of the epic supervillain master plan of Peter Stormare.
Yeah, like, did Josh get lost in Glore Valley too? I guess that is what this is implying. So it would have to be a prequel. But again, this movie,
but that just the timeline,
actual time takes place after the game, so who fucking knows?
What's amazing is how much thought and yet how little thought they put into it.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
this is a very strange movie, especially when you add in the context of the game, like you're talking about. Man, this this thing is a puzzle. So let's see. Anything else? I mean, once again, I don't have much to say about the movie itself because, I mean, by the way, none of it ends up mattering, of course, because of the time resetting, they all just get away at the end.
Yeah, they're able to. Oh, also, yeah, Peter Stormare also is like, one person always has to die, which again, not true to the game because you can get out with everybody living, but sure, whatever, we're just making shit up,
right?
And the inclusion, the line, it matters more when you only have one shot, that's also from the game, and again kind of bastardized because they've had 12 other shots before this one.
Well, and also the I guess in a way that's somewhat meant to echo the game or whatever, to give them is this idea that they've gone up here looking for the missing
yes.
sister, whereas you talk about in the game, it's the whole thing is centered around the death of a character's sister, but all of that just works out too, of course.
Yeah. As much as it can, like, she does get closure because her sister's like a monster now, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but everything just feels very like,
Yeah, there are a lot of Easter eggs in the movie.
I believe it. But
again, it just and like, I wrote some notes about, like, little bits and pieces that I thought were cool, but it all just ends up to the same point though, which is, yeah, this part was cool, but like, I don't know, overall it didn't really do anything. So
any of these set pieces in a better movie could have been cool, but on their own you just go like, okay.
Yeah, like, I would love to see in a well, I guess it's kind of present in Happy Death Day, but to a lesser extent. But like, I liked a lot the kind of marks showing up on their bodies.
Yeah.
Of like of the deaths that they experienced. I thought that was really neat.
That at least
I would love to see that in a better movie.
Gives some kind of sense of there being a cost or something, and it, but I thought the movie was going to take it further, where it's like, it's becoming like somebody could die from it.
Like what happens in Happy Death Day, where it's like, oh, it seems like you've sustained like a massive amount of trauma, which is like, you should be dead from this.
Right. And something like that once again, just, I'm looking for anything to give the movie some kind of stakes or some kind of cost. I'm not looking to like savage these characters necessarily, but it just feels like everything's a little too easy.
Oh yeah, because even when they like watch Dr. Hill's video about like, yeah, the longer someone's here, the more they turn into this monster.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really have, like, the most we get is Abe's back spines and Meg
I thought
losing
for
some hair.
sure
Like,
we were gonna lose one of the characters, and as they turn into this. That just felt inevitable, and then I mean, and that would just give it some kind of emotional stakes. Oh my God, this friend of ours is a monster now, and we have to destroy them or something. I mean, anything. Instead, it's all just kind of like
anything.
I mean, yeah, it's truly one of the weakest scripts I've seen from like a major studio horror release in a while. It's there's just so many things in it where you're just like, how did you not think about that, or how did you not include this? It's just really, it's a frustrating watch. I'm more frustrated than I am angry about it per se.
Yeah.
And you talk about, you're working from good source material, and you've got people who are talented, but yeah,
sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Sometimes it doesn't work out.
Unlike for the characters in this movie. We didn't make it until dawn, and now we're part of it.
I guess so, yeah. Well, let's talk about how this did at the box office. So on a $15 million budget, it made $54 million worldwide. Now, most of that was in foreign territory, which, is what it is.
Sure.
But let's see. We're currently in the year 2025, but we're at the end of it as we're recording this. So let's talk about where it's currently sitting in the worldwide box office at $54 million. Where do you think that landed at?
Like 45.
Close, 52.
Went with my gut on that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good though. Yeah, just below. I do like that it was just edged out by the re-release of Revenge of the Sith. Which I think is pretty funny, that it made slightly less than a re-release of a Star Wars movie.
A re-release of
a prequel.
Yeah, I was gonna say everyone's least favorite of the prequels. I don't know if that's true.
No, I think it's everyone's most favorite of is Revenge of the Sith.
Interesting. I would have thought
Oh,
people like Attack of the Clones better.
maybe look, I'm not in touch with what the kids feel these days, but
Yeah.
Gorgoni and I
It
would
does
definitely
have
be.
that sand line that everyone loves, so.
Yeah, the best line George Lucas ever wrote, let's be honest. And then just above the roses, which is the Benedict Cumberbatch, Olivia Colman British comedy about them in a divorce.
Good for them.
Yeah. But like that would be 51 is damn good for like an indie British comedy, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas I think they were hoping for something bigger from Until Dawn. Once again, when I talk about the year 2025, we have to bring up that the highest grossing movie of the year is Ni 2, which is so bizarre. That is a Chinese animated movie that essentially got almost no play here in the US. And it's made almost $2 billion.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And a sequel, no less.
And a sequel to, once again, another movie we don't really know that's all based around like Chinese mythology.
Oh, very cool.
It's just
I knowing nothing about it.
No.
Like, oh, okay. Yeah,
no,
sure.
I think it got some like Fathom event, plays here in the U.S. But it's I mean, it speaks to the changing market. China's a bigger movie market. As a culture, they like the movie theater experience more than America. It seems like, which is very, it's different. It's just different than it has been. But good for them. I'm sure it's good. I have no idea. I don't know what Ni 1 or 2 is. Well, let's look at some, as we always do here. We'll finish up with some highs and lows. This should be interesting. Let's see what. Where am I? Oh, here we go. We'll start with, because we're closer to the low end here. I mean, here we go. Yeah, I mean, this comes to us from you, Clark, who says, a title of the review is "The writers completely don't understand the game." I think I don't need to talk about those ridiculous scenes like a drop of water. Meaningless Witcher, rain wall, shadow of big monster, more buildings. But the worst is they turn the good story in the game to the worst story in the movie. I guess the writer only knew that Until Dawn is a game only, so focus on replay and continuous only. However, I think most of the people who know the game should remember the main theme of the game is the butterfly effect. This theme is totally missed in the film. This is why I am rating this movie as 1 star, 1 out of 10 stars.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it does sort of feel like it's just like video games, so do the loop.
It really does. And it's there's also a little bit of contention here in terms of like if the writers from the game were at all involved or even like knew about the production, but it does seem like they were not contacted or referenced or like asked about anything in any way.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. Interesting. This comes for us from Jasmine M213, who says, "Go see the movie. Don't listen to the haters. It's more similar to the game than you think."
Oh, Jasmine, please tell me my business.
I've seen a lot of people say it's nothing like the game. Why name it Until Dawn? Just use a different title. And I'm like sitting here so confused by these comments. There are a lot of Wendigos, the Masked Killer, Dr. Hill, the same plot in many ways with the sister plot line. There are tons of Easter eggs, the history of the location. So for it to be called anything else wouldn't make sense, since I have watched and played the game like hundreds of times. So I can tell you this lived up to the name, and I loved the twist ending. I feel like these are people who are just mad it isn't an adaptation, or it messed with the lore of the OG game, and I wanted the same thing. They have already seen or played the game once and haven't played it in years. I do wish they kept the game speed when it came to character development and story exploration. It did feel like they were going around a haunted house. Also, they skipped a big part of the day. There was 13 days, but we only get to see 5 play out. But other than that, Don't let the negative review stop you from going and having your own opinion. I think it's really egotistical to be like, don't even go see the movie because I don't like it. Emoji of eye rolling, 10 out of 10 stars.
Jasmine, I'm begging you
Yeah.
to gain some critical thinking skills. I listen, I do. There's a part of me that is like kind of on the same page about like,
Yeah.
it is a little egotistical to be like, don't even see it.
Sure.
But also, Jasmine, you're right.
Yeah.
Nobody has to listen to those people. They can go form their own opinions and whatever. So
This
I
is
can
true.
say whatever I want. It's my God-given right as an American to be a hater.
You better believe it. Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is a lot of it is just like, it's more like the game. They say these names that are in the game, and that thing that, it's like Easter eggs are not the core.
Again, Jasmine.
We talked about this.
Jasmine, you need to stop skipping lit class. I know it's annoying. I know high school sucks. I know that it's annoying to write essays about metaphors and shit, but it will help you in the long run.
Because it's similar to Listman and I reviewed Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Yes.
A movie that goes out of its way to get so many of the aesthetics down, but completely misses anything that makes those games interesting. But yet all the press was just like, we built the police station to the exact map that the police station is in the game. And you're like, great. Could you write a script too? Like,
yeah. Did you remember to like make a story?
Yeah, it was just like, okay, cool. Claire's wearing the red jacket she wears in the game. That's great. She doesn't do anything that makes her feel like Claire from the game as a character, but yeah, that's Claire's jacket. You know, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. It's just it happens a lot with comic book movies too. A lot of these adaptations where they get really fixated on the aesthetics or things, and a certain section of the audience will be like, yeah. I mean, 13-year-old me saw the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck, and I was like, oh shit, he's hanging off of the crucifix of the church in the rain. This is just like the comic.
It's perfect.
They've done it. You know, sure, yeah, I get it, but yeah, a little critical thinking. It's just sloppy, and that's a shame. It's a shame that this was.
I mean,
whether it was time or budget or whatever, it does feel a little slapped together, and that's too bad.
Yeah, Dr. Hill's office was basically a perfect recreation of it, but it didn't make a damn bit of sense.
No, it's really weird. But yet, once again, we're not going to do the game out of reverence, but we're also going to do something that's pretty dumb.
But we are going to make it worse in retrospect by having this movie be it's a thing, by having this movie exist.
I don't get it. I don't understand the thought process here. Sometimes I just don't get what they're thinking. You know, I mean, it happens. Sometimes bad movies come out of these.
It does.
And to your point that you're making earlier, that has been the ongoing thread of this whole season. Is just why even the go play the game. Why do this at all?
And there's nothing like and we've talked about in other shows before about, you know, my feelings about the book versus movie debate and how it could be an interesting conversation, but 9 times out of 10 it's not.
Right.
And so I'm not like, obviously you can still go play the game. Like, Until Dawn still exists and is still a great game. Whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm going to forget this movie exists in, a month and a half.
I mean, forgettable is a real good word for this movie. Yeah.
But like, there could also be an interesting conversation about adapting an interactive medium into a non-interactive medium and like what that means and what can you take from something interactive and still make it engaging when it's not interactive, engaging and like interesting. Because I think the thing that is so interesting about video games is that, like, maybe not all of them, and I'm not a video game scholar, okay? I went to college for other things, but
I did take one class that was video games as literature, but I
very cool.
It was an extremely cool class where assigned reading was games was pretty cool.
very cool.
Yeah.
But like games adding an interactivity to a story,
Yeah.
whether whether it's a good story or not, whether it's the story of the American industrial or the American military industrial complex,
Right.
or building on horror movies from the
Right.
last couple of decades,
Yeah.
many decades.
Yeah.
Something, when you remove that,
Yeah.
what do you get? And can you get something interesting from subtracting from that? The answer so far, I think, is not really.
In general, no. I would say this whole season has firmly put us in the camp of no. I mean, I guess the generous way to say that is it's so hard that almost no one has done it. I guess. I guess that's the takeaway here is it's incredibly difficult, and the few that there have been like a couple of like it was okay, and like I said, the most successful things have been on TV for the most part, I would say, and are kind of doing a different thing.
Exactly. Like, is there, like, if we take some time, like a couple seconds to analyze that, like there was I can't remember if it was something official or something just somebody random was saying on the internet, but like as a game, you are afforded a lot more time, even in something like Until Dawn, which is still fairly long for a video game, but as isolated in the sense of its timeline, right? It's not an open world game. You can't like spend thousands of hours. It's not Skyrim.
Right. Yeah.
But like, if we look at the Fallout show, like we were talking about, it does seem to be one of the more successful pieces of video game adaptation.
Right.
One of the aspects working for you there is an extended time.
Yes.
You're not limited to just 200 minutes or whatever. You can span that out, and maybe that's the answer. But I guess does there have to be an answer? I don't know.
I don't know that there's an answer, but we definitely are noticing trends, and I do think especially when you're adapting modern games, these are longer stories, sometimes 10 to 40 hour stories, and yes, trying to corral those into a 2-hour experience is maybe a fool's errand. So doing something like, and something like Fallout in particular, right, is those are games that even they don't have an ongoing central protagonist. So the world
that does help.
The world is the star of it. So the idea of making a show where you can spend time in that world, and yes, also there's that aspect of it too, that you're not going like, well, Walton Goggins is playing this character? I don't think so. Like we're seeing with some of the extremely shitty reaction to the Last of Us show.
Yeah.
Which is where it's just like, she don't look like the game looked like. You're like, okay.
It's like, okay, just I'm jingling keys in front of you. Can you stop talking?
What? She's not as hot as that 14-year-old in that game.
And it's like, hey, that's not say it out loud for a second, and then maybe reflect. It's not the take that you think it is.
What's that? Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's some of that, because I do also think like the Halo show suffered from like Halo as a game doesn't function like a movie or a show. So, people are getting bent out of shape because Master Chief now has to be a person, and he really isn't in the games.
No.
But to be the protagonist of his TV show, he has to be. Now, there's a whole conversation about should that have even been the case, but that goes down.
Should they have adapted one of the many Halo novels instead? I don't know.
There were any number of ways to do that, but it did sort of feel like, it's an interesting thing, and we're still seeing people, play it. I mean, I do think, is it a fool's errand to... I mean, look, literally
because they keep making money. So
they
the
are
only fools are me and you.
They are starting to make money. It does feel like it.
That's true.
I mean, literally, as we're talking today, as we're recording this, the first pictures of the Legend of Zelda movie have come out.
This is true.
And that's, that's a movie that keeps coming up this season because everybody's like, I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I mean, once again, if we're just talking aesthetics, I go, yeah, it looks pretty right.
Okay.
They look good. But
I don't know why Zelda's wearing her Breath of the Wild clothes or Tears of the Kingdom clothes, and Link is wearing like regular Link stuff. But sure,
I don't know
whatever.
what they're doing. I mean, that just that's another one where I'm just like, oh man, better you than me. I wouldn't have touched that with a 10-foot pole, man. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's the easiest no for a filmmaker. Jesus, no good. Yeah, that's just oh man, Wes Ball, who's directing that, it's got a lot of guts to do that. Whether it turns out well or not, yikes. It's the same reason I see a lot of people go, yeah, I don't want to direct a Star Wars movie. I just don't. I don't need that headache. No slight to Star Wars, but good Lord, is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
Yeah. So
I don't think so.
The answer is, at the moment, I'm still not convinced that this is because I often mention one of my favorite film commentators, a guy named Patrick Willems, who makes amazing video essays on YouTube about movies, and he did a great video called "What's After Comic Book Movies." Just sort of this idea about, like, if the comic book movie trend is waning or reducing in some capacity, Hollywood's already on to the next thing, and it sort of feels like, yeah, I'm still not convinced video games are that thing. It doesn't seem like it's working, man. Comic books are a way more natural fit.
They really are, and that bubble. I mean, maybe it's not gonna burst.
Oh, I don't think it. No,
it's maybe more like a balloon that will just
we'll have
deflate.
less. I don't think it's ever going to go away. It's similar to, I mean, people talk about the Western, right? It used to be that there were 800 Westerns, and now we get some sometimes. Because I don't think
we get like one every 5 or 6 years.
Sure, yeah. I mean, and so maybe it becomes
at least until Clint Eastwood dies.
I'm never gonna die, though.
It's true.
Yeah, the man
He's living on
refuses
spite and tobacco.
He refuses to die. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Never. But yeah. So, but I once again, it just doesn't feel like. Every once in a while, you get these things like the Sonic the Hedgehog movies are very popular, the Minecraft movies are very successful. You're like, yeah, but I'm not really seeing where those are trends, though.
Because
I mean, the other thing,
Sonic was such a strange success story.
Yeah.
That I just don't think is replicable.
No, I don't know what lesson there is to take from that. And in fact, I think the things that have tried in any capacity have not worked. And then, like, the Super Mario thing, those are also not really like what. I mean, that movie is a bunch of reference. I have issues with that movie.
Yeah.
I know people love that movie, but I'm just like, it is a fun best of Mario.
Yeah, it's like a super cut of Mario game footage, but
and you're like,
it looks slightly nicer.
Yeah, and so I'm like, if that's what people want, great. I don't think you're gonna make 8 of those, though. I just don't see that happen. It's a weird thing. And I the other thing that I've said on here, and I think it's true, I think weirdly some of the movies we mentioned, things like Edge of Tomorrow, are some of the best video game movies are not based on video games. They are inspired by the mechanics of video games, by the storytelling of video games, by the aesthetics of video games, more so than actually adapting the games themselves. Because and the other thing is, gaming, as popular as it is, I mean, I guess somewhat like comic books, but I think even more, kind of to your point you were saying about all the different stories within it, there's nothing like superheroes in video games, right? There's no everybody does this, because it's like the people who play Mario Kart are not the people who are playing Call of Duty, are not the people playing Until Dawn, right? Like,
right.
And so there's bouncing around niches.
it's true. Similarly to something that, I don't think that mainstream Hollywood will ever actually accept, is that, like, yeah, video game movie is not a genre. Like, animation is not a genre.
Right.
It is a medium.
Right.
And there are genres of stories within it.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to adapt to whatever genre it is. But because I don't even know what the disc, like, with animation, maybe it makes sense a little bit, but not really.
No, it's
maybe to a layperson, but, like, right, as a movie buff and as an animation buff, like,
yeah,
the history of animation is so wide and
no,
long.
it's
like,
always been an annoying thing, and it's the idea that people bring up about at award shows they have best animated film, but you're like, how am I putting this Pixar movie against this, Miyazaki film or whatever? They're not doing the same thing at all. And yes, there is that aspect, because when we talk about comic book movies, number one, we're using it as a pejorative for superhero movies, right? Because of course, something like David Cronenberg's A History of Violence is based on a comic book, right? Like, there's lots of stuff, and I honestly think some of that is also true about, I think, the massive fandom for things like Fallout or Last of Us those are really have mass appeal as stories in general. People. Tons of people
fucking love that shit.
Yeah, and people who have no idea those are games even.
Yeah,
because
my dad fucking loves The Last of Us.
Yeah, and your dad's probably never picked up a controller.
Never gonna play that game.
No, of course not. That's and so that's another thing too. Is you're also, at the end of the day, just my dad goes to every Marvel movie. He's never gonna read a fucking comic book in his life. We would never. It's just sort of, so I think there's another thing too. It is like, at the end of the day, I guess the lesson, if you take it, is, and this is so stupid, but unfortunately Hollywood, I have to say this, find good stories.
Yeah, tell a compelling story.
It really doesn't.
Morons.
It really doesn't matter. They're always looking. It's the big problem. It's really what this show is, right? The big problem is they're always looking for that answer. Where if we just do that, it's gonna work every time. And you're just like, that doesn't exist.
Oh, that was. And just this year, that was the whole thing with Sinners.
Yep.
Where it was such a huge hit, and it was like, very unique, and
defies
everyone's like,
genre,
man, we're selling it, and Ryan Coogler's like, no, I just want to make, like, I made Sinners already.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go make another thing that's cool.
Yeah.
And unique, and
that because they were like,
people
man, Warner Brothers thought the ending of that movie was like, oh, so like franchise now. It's like, no, what?
No.
And
absolutely not.
This year has been interesting. 2025 has been interesting because we've seen a lot of hits, whether it be Sinners or Weapons or One Battle After Another, where it seems like one of the lessons is like, it turns out if you hire good filmmakers and let them make interesting things, people actually will go to them.
Make money.
Because
crazy how that works.
Sinners in particular, it defies genre. It's R-rated.
Mm-hmm.
It has a nearly entirely black cast. It like defeats so many of the things that they think about as successful.
Yeah.
And so I think they're just like, we don't know what to do with this. We have no idea. Beyond make sequels to Sinners? Oh, he doesn't want to do that? Shit. I don't know.
What are we? It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Just like,
you really can't think of a different possibility?
I don't.
It's so frustrating.
Because it's just like, do people like old-timey vampires? Is that the thing? No, that's not the thing. No. And we're going to get that. Somebody else is going to do more period vampire. It's the same thing with, like, Barbie was so successful, right? And so they're like, let's buy every toy. Let's buy the rights to every toy. And we'll make toy movies. I just read that somebody got hired to write the Viewmaster movie. And I'm just like,
okay.
What even is that? But immediately, like within days of Barbie coming out, I saw they're like, Polly Pocket to be a movie. You're like, well, fucking course. Of course.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah, it's a bummer that business people, for the most part. I know there are creative studio execs out there. They do exist, but a lot of the people running the studios are not creative people.
No, and they don't care about creative people.
I mean, it's the thing that if you enjoyed these conversations on the show I highly recommend watching is Seth Rogen's The Studio. It is one of the best examinations of that, and the whole first season is about them trying to make a Kool-Aid movie. And it is just you're going like, God, that's not that far off as as a piece of satire. You're like, I could see someone and all the characters are the different flavors of Kool-Aid. You're like, oh shit, that feels very real.
It's too close. Yeah, it's too close.
But you're like, that's how that happens.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty. It's on the pulse there. Anyway, so where does this show? As we wrap this up, of course, where does this show go? Way into the past, because next season is
the hourglass, John. It's tipping back over.
I know it's
Chick.
It's starting again. No, it's going to be significantly different because next season, which will just be coming out next week, it's a new thing. Yeah, whatever. Is we're going to be looking at films based on the King Arthur legend. Because it's one of those properties that's obviously public domain, so it's free. That every couple years they just come back to. Don't people like that? I think people like that.
Do we like King Arthur still? Is that still a thing?
And the answer seems to be no.
Yeah. No,
not really, because the last several any attempt to turn that into a tentpole franchise has not gone well. So we'll be talking about we're starting in the 1950s and we're going all the way to ending with Warner Brothers' attempt to make the Knights of the Round Table Avengers by making an individual movie about each of them. They got one off the ground, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, but they were like, then we'll have a Lancelot movie and a Galahad movie. And you're like, no, you guys. You guys.
You watching that one TV movie? Oh, well, I guess it's more about Merlin, but
oh no, yeah,
Sam Neill.
We're not doing that. No, to keep everything. Once again, the rules of it has to be Arthur centric. So it's going to be just the King Arthur movie, because also we're not getting into like the Green Knight or the Holy Grail movies or things that are, because you could do Arthurian stuff forever. We're just doing.
I see. Just literally King Arthur.
The tales of King Arthur and like the origin of King Arthur / the love triangle with Lancelot and Guinevere stuff. So we're doing Excalibur. We are doing Sword in the Stone. The Disney movie,
fun.
Yeah. So
a little bit of fun.
it'll be a shorter season is another thing too, after this marathon that was the video game season. But Elliott, next you'll be back on the show in a couple seasons. We will be talking about Hellraiser.
John, I have such wonderful things to show you.
One of those franchises I keep telling people about, as always, has more movies than you think.
Or that it should.
Oh, yeah. Talk about something overstaying its welcome. Big time. At a certain point, when even Doug Bradley's like, I can't.
No, I don't think so.
Please.
I would rather be in Wrong Turn 5.
Oh, man. Brendan doesn't know what he's in for with Meet the Slashers, how many wrong turns we have to watch.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
He's like, really? I'm like, yo, there are like 7 of those things, man. You have no idea. And he's like, is that a slasher? I'm like, I'm calling it one. Yeah, I think that's a slasher.
They do the Texas Chainsaw thing like multiple times, so it counts.
Yeah, it counts. All right. That wraps up this investigation. So until next week, the case file. It's closed.